The park is only 90 kilometers north of the city of Prince Albert, but it's a world apart. There is a subtle beauty and a peacefulness. It is large enough for swimming, boating and water skiing, yet remote enough for canoeing and backpacking. Every year, thousands of people come here to play and to reflect, for recreation and solitude. More and more the park's environment is being appreciated. The remoteness of the park and its undisturbed environment has made it a perfect location for two very important studies, both vital in the need to preserve the boreal wilderness and monitor its ecology for this and future generations. In a fresh approach to resolving age-old conflicts, Prince Albert National Park joined as a partner with scientists, First Nations, naturalists and industry to form the Prince Albert Model Forest. 10 model forests established across Canada, and each one resolved to work together to find better solutions for the good of the forest. As people enjoy the park, all around them others are trying to resolve the issues of jobs versus the environment, of native land rights and of animals and wildlife that know no boundaries.
But the problem is animals such as wolves, fish, the air, the seeds of the trees, everything moves across these boundaries and doesn't pay any attention to, whether it's in the park or whether it's not in the park, whether it's on a forestry lease area or whether it's on an Indian reserve. The animals don't pay attention to that, and nature really doesn't pay attention to that. So we've got to try to manage the ecosystem as a whole unit and try to coordinate so that we're not working against each other, we're working with each other.
We all depend on it, and we depend on its sustainability, and we want to maintain those ecosystem functions in the forest.
The approach may not be very far removed from that of the traditional inhabitants, the woodland Cree.
The forest had spiritual values, the forest was used for their livelihood. That kind of forest management ensured that all aspects of the forest environment were sustained over centuries. So I think we are going back now, in a way, conceptually, we are going back to the traditional approach to forest management, which integrates all values.
Logging has not been permitted in the park since its creation, and this provides an ideal contrast in which to study the effects of regeneration just outside of the park with stands inside the park.
The greatest satisfaction is to go back into areas that were being harvested over 20 years ago and walk around in those regenerated cutovers and look at the trees that are now 15, 20 feet high and feel comfortable that this whole thing works and that what we're doing today is going to look like that 20 years down the road.
But there are some nagging worries that although the forest will grow again and look the same, it could indeed be different.
What our findings are suggesting now is that if you remove the forest cover vegetation, you get a hotter, drier environment in summer and a more severe environment in the winter in regenerating clear cuts. Even when we've got pine trees going up to about 12 feet high, Dr. Granger, my colleague at the Institute, has found that they don't behave like a natural forest. They don't take the energy in the same way and cool things off, transpire in the same manner. So it looks like a forest, it has the shapes and the leaf area of a forest, but it doesn't act like a natural forest. What you have to do with a clear cut is really to simulate what happens in a natural environment. In this area, the white spruce have a great deal of difficulty out in an open field because there isn't enough vegetation to cool off the environment, and so temperature goes above 35 Celsius, they're stressed out and they die. If you have a cover of aspen trees, even aspen bushes, maybe 10 feet high, around these spruces, they shelter them, they shade them, and they cool off the environment around the spruce. So it's a bit of a symbiotic relationship. The spruce need the aspen to survive, but then eventually the spruce will shade out the aspen.
As business and science work hand in hand on the model forest, there is a sense that no hurdle is insurmountable, that the Partnership for Progress will iron out wrinkles without damaging the fabric of the forest. For more information, visit our website on topoftheworld.net.